So American power sat as the kind of engine that was powering this great power stability. And I'm not saying this as some kind of advocate of American power or foreign policy. I'm just describing a reality, that there was no country, actually no combination of countries, that could challenge American hegemony. And that reality meant that you did not have this traditional great power rivalry that was taking place. If you think about it, who were the other powers? Russia. Russia, by the 1990s, was on its knees, weak, defaulting on its debt, desperate to find a way to restore basic living standards and basic law and order in its country. You had the countries of Eastern Europe, of Western Europe, which were essentially wholly dependent on the United States for their security. You had a country like Japan that, again, derived its security entirely from a security guarantee with the United States. This, by the way, is a very unusual situation in the world. If you think about it, in 1995, the second richest and third richest countries in the world, which would normally be the obvious competitors to the standing hegemon, were essentially satellites, security satellites of that hegemon. We've never had a situation like that before. And so this shaped the international environment in a way that what we began to think of as very normal was actually highly abnormal. Perhaps something that we have not seen since the Roman Empire, one country that dominant. What has happened in the last 10 years is you have begun to see an erosion of that Pax Americana. It's for a variety of reasons. Possibly the Iraq War is a way to start that discussion. Not just the turmoil that was caused, because after all, the turmoil was caused during the Vietnam War. But more than that, a sense that the United States had lost the will to try to reshape the world in the way it did. You know, if you think about what happens after the Iraq War, between second Bush administration, Obama, there's a sense of America withdrawing from the Middle East. And what you begin to see in the Middle East, by the way, as a result, is a kind of post-American Middle East, where the Saudis and the Iranians are jockeying for influence. The Turks and the Israelis are also trying to protect their identities. And in this great power or regional power competition, you get enormous chaos, civil wars in Iraq, in Yemen, in Syria, most bloody of all of it spilling over because you had, in a sense, developed a power vacuum as the United States withdrew and all these other countries, all these other regional powers jumped in. I say that only because I think in some ways the post-American Middle East might be a portend for what a post-American world might look like. So you have the Iraq War that perhaps plays this catalytic role. Then you have the global financial crisis, which has a larger effect than many people realize because it had the effect of delegitimizing American power. So if in the Iraq War shows that American military power is not invincible, the global financial crisis shows that the American economic model is not invincible. As the senior Chinese official very famously says to Hank Paulson, the American Treasury Secretary, he says, when they meet in the period right after the crisis, he says, "Hank, we always regarded you as our tutors. Whenever we wanted to set up a new system, a regulation, a bank, central bank procedure, we would look to the Americans and ask how you do it. But now it doesn't seem like the tutor has anything to teach us after all." And that sense of delegitimization of American power, I think, is a very powerful part of this story. Now I think what you have for the first time really is a serious geopolitical challenge to that order, to that hegemony, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I still describe it as a moment that is plastic in the sense that it can be shaped because we don't know where it is going to go. What has surprised the Russians clearly is the extraordinary vibrancy and determination of the Ukrainians.
एबीपी न्यूज आपको रखे आगे।